Hello, welcome to Meditations for Mortals. I'm Lindsay Milner. This is where I am working through Oliver Burkeman's volume, a 4-week guide to doing what counts. And we are on day 12. Rules that serve life on doing things daily-ish. Now, first of all, I'm shooting this on location today, which is why the lighting is a bit dodgy. If the sound is a bit dodgy, it's because the heat wave is over and we have some Welsh weather, i.e. howling wind and rain. So apologies for that, but we're still here, so that's fine. As I say, day 12 is rules that serve life on doing things daily-ish. And Burkeman contrasts what he calls the Seinfeld strategy, which apparently is based on something Jerry Seinfeld said, was a throwaway comment really, but people latched onto it, that to get things done you needed to mark it off on a calendar with a big red X for every day that you've done it and create that streak. And lots of apps that we use these days use a streak. I mean, my meditation app tells me how many consecutive days I've used it. Focusmate, which I have mentioned previously in blogs, if not in videos, that tells you how many days consecutively you've used it, how many weeks you've used it, and builds on this concept of a streak. Now, the problem with a streak is that if you break it, and the longer it is, the more you're upset if you break it. You only have to miss one day and then that's it, streak is over, it's all gone, you're back to zero. So Burkeman contrasts this with Dan Harris's approach. Now, Dan Harris is the author of a book called 10% Happier on meditation. He says that when people ask him how often you should meditate, his response is daily-ish. If you miss a day, it doesn't matter. But the concept is that you do meditate pretty much on a daily basis. And I'm going to contrast this with, by coincidence, Facebook showed me a reel this morning from Diary of a CEO guy, Stephen Bartlett, where he says that he felt he did so much better once he told himself he had to go to the gym every day rather than a certain number of times a week, because having that default, I go to the gym every day, so I always have to go to the gym, he found works better for him than saying he was going to go 3 times a week or 4 times a week or however many times a week he chose. And in one respect I can see the logic of this, but in another, I mean, it takes me almost an hour to get to the gym, and there are reasons for that. There are reasons why I go to that gym, and I know it's going to take me that long to get there. But if I were to go to the gym every day, that's basically taking up pretty much every morning. That's unsustainable. It's unsustainable in terms of behaviour just in itself, but also it's taking away from so much else if I was to spend that amount of time. I guess if you've got a home gym, it works a lot better, and I guess Stephen Bartlett probably does have a home gym. So, it's what works for you, but don't impose that daily rule on everything. I mean, yeah, it's useful for, I shower every day, I brush my teeth every day, but go to the gym, do you really need to do that every day as a default behaviour? I think probably not. And it also, I think, depends how he feels about if he does miss a day. If he's got a load of meetings that day and he doesn't get to the gym, how does he feel about that? Does he feel like he's ruined his streak? Does he feel like he's failed as a human? Or does he think, well, it's the aim, but I've missed it today, it's fine, I'll pick it up again tomorrow. Because one of the things that I have done in the past is that whole the Weight Watchers thing, that I've blown it now for today because I had pastry after breakfast, I might as well pig out for the entire day. That mindset keeps you fat. What you have to do is put it behind you. Okay, I screwed up and ate something that I shouldn't have, or that I didn't want to, or that isn't the most healthy optimally for me. It's done now. Let's just get back on track and not do that again for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of the month. Because it is about that kind of mindset approach, I think. And what I like about Burkeman's approach, what he says in the chapter, is that you know in your heart if you're doing something daily-ish or if you've let it slide. You know that twice a week doesn't really count as daily-ish, whereas 5 times a week probably does. And in a busy week, if a lot of things crop up, if something goes wrong and throws your whole week out, if you manage 3-4 days that week, if you manage every other day, you can still accept that that's daily-ish. So that flexibility, that losing the rigidity and the perfectionism and the following the rule as the driving behaviour, Burkeman does talk about the psychology of why that's more helpful, and I do agree pretty much with his approach. So instead of being driven by the streak, the continuous, the red ticks, whatever your app's telling you, whatever you can see on your calendar, if you're driven instead by the fact that you know you're doing something on a roughly daily basis, then you can feel satisfied that you're doing what you want to do. And the eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that this meditation, one a day, I've skipped a couple of days. I missed 2 consecutive days this weekend because I was travelling on Saturday and I had a lot of prep to do before I travelled, and I just didn't really have time to do this. And then on Sunday it was super hot, really stiflingly hot. I was feeling stressed out and tired out, and I just decided a day off was the sensible thing to do, so I took the day off. So I missed 2 days, but I've picked it back up now. We're back Monday, we're back Tuesday. It's all good. I'm still on schedule for daily-ish. So I really like this approach. I think it's more flexible and it's more helpful than beating yourself up because you've missed a day, and then thinking, well, what's the point, because now my streak is over, and the whole point was the streak. Really, the point is the activity, not the streak. So although Burkeman has called this chapter Rules That Serve Life, obviously the chapter really is just about this one particular rule of doing something daily-ish rather than being bound by the rule that you've got to do it every single day. But I do also agree the principle that, rules, we don't follow rules for the sake of the rules, we follow the rules if they serve us. So that's day 12, Meditations for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman, a 4-week guide to doing what counts. What do you think? Do you like this idea of daily-ish? Let me know in the comments. Look forward to seeing what you think. I am Lindsay Milner, and I will see you tomorrow, all being well, for day 13 of Meditations for Mortals. Bye!